The word is legacy. I've asked people this before, and I mean, you've done so much in your life. You've had success, I'm sure failures. You've had family, community, continuing legacy, helping people in this town. Do you want to be remembered? Do you care how you'd want to be remembered? What words would you want people to remember you by? You've had such a long, let's be honest, a very fascinating, giving, productive life.
Thank you. That's very kind of you to say. I got a lot of help along the way. Let me tell you, that's one thing I want. You don't do it alone.
That's a life lesson, though. Yeah, get other people.
Absolutely. I was very, very lucky. The people who worked for me and when I went to Rutgers to run what was called the network and then Answer. We didn't really say anything about that. But I'm not sure. I have written, a sort of a draft of an obituary, and when I wrote it, I went back to read it, and it really focuses on sex education, and I decided not to change it. Perhaps that's my legacy, that I worked, on this issue. I think we made progress on this issue. I still believe in its importance. It may be that years from now people will say, well, why was there even a discussion about the importance? Because we will come to understand human sexuality and respect it and treat it, more respectfully than I think we do now in certain areas, and the teen pregnancy rate maybe will be negligible if it exists at all in the United States. The little things like that. So I'm going to go with that. Right. I feel that was where perhaps I made a difference. But it's not up to me to judge. It's other people. But I learned a lot, and I hope that I was helpful in helping others,
Right. And improving their lives with knowledge of sex education.
Let me just tell you two stories to prove that. We once got a letter from a young, I believe she was African American woman from somewheres in the South. And she said to me, she wrote to us, "I love my son," she said, "but if I had read your newsletter, Sex, etc., I wouldn't have him." And she said, "I picked it up in a clinic, and I was very grateful to have read it." And that gave me, I really felt pleasure, and for all of us who produced this. And then the other story was there was a nun here in New Jersey who somehow had gotten hold of copies of Sex, etc. Not when it was a big, I don't think it was in a color, it was black and white. And the bishop found out that she was using it in her classroom. And he ordered her to stop it because he said, that you can't do this, that you can't do this kind of instruction with your students. She wrote me a note, and she said, "Please send the newsletter to my house each time you publish it. I will read it. I can no longer take it into the classroom, but I will share the content of the articles with my students." And here was a nun who, I imagine the bishop found out she was even reading it, he might, continue to make life difficult for her. But that's the kind of little ways people have thanked the work that I did, and many, many other people did along with me. I had a marvelous staff at Rutgers. They were fabulous, and I was just there occasionally to answer questions for them and raise money.